we are very, very early in stages of learning how to integrate what might be called like our dark energies. And you referenced that earlier, like how do we integrate, what we have labeled as dark dimensions of masculinity and dark dimensions of femininity that have so many gifts and powers, and actually a necessity to be called forth right now. I actually have the belief that there is a not so subtle agenda against, like a war on masculinity that has come through the feminist psyop, and that has, at its core, the intention to emasculate and feminize men to the point where there are no actual male protectors available. And
so I feel that too. I know that's in the Sovereignty series, which, by the way, y'all need to check this out. joshtrent.com/Kelly Brogan. And the code is Josh20. So thank you for that program access. It's incredible. I was looking at it this morning. It's in the notes right now. You gotta go, because I was watching some of the information on birth. I was watching some of the information on financial sovereignty. And the big one is when you had the interview. What was the gentleman's name?
Omar Pani.
Omar. And he said it so eloquently that like it started out in this way where it was about reclaiming love, reclaiming equality of some sort. But along the way, and I've found this to be the case in my own interactions with past partners and just life in general, and even podcast guests, there is this dark side of femininity that really it's not running on the same fuel source anymore. Maybe it started out pure, maybe it started out with loving intention, but it morphed into something really ugly along the way. And I wonder if you could speak to that, because that is a part of sovereignty, is to know when we have been puppeteered, to know when we have been amygdala hijacked, using psychoneuroimmunology to make something real, even though it's not. That's the hallmark of communism. Mm-hmm. How do you present information that's false that you are saying is true? So speak to that for a moment, the attack on masculinity, and how do we lovingly defend? How do we do that as a collective?
Yeah. So an important sort of starting place for this is the phenomenon of what sometimes is called the shadow mommy, which is it's an archetype that, has been discussed, I think, pretty well in a lot of the psychoanalytic literature and Jungian work, which is basically this idea of the devouring mother. And it's particularly relevant to the way that mothers relate to sons. And when women have an experience, as they pretty typically universally do, of having been threatened into unsafety by a man, right? Violated, betrayed, or otherwise brought to this deep existential place of fear that a man can kill them, which is the truth, right? So women walk the earth with the awareness that if they misstep, if they are too much in their energy, that a man can kill them with their bare hands. And that's just a fact. That's a fact of physiology, of biology. And the way that we interact as women with that fear is what defines our potential dynamic resources with men in the world. So not just your partner, right? So, and it puts us into a state of vigilance and self-defensiveness. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the all of this warfare consciousness and psychology that has been seeded through the feminist movement and agenda that insists that men apologize, that they cower, that they otherwise be subdued. And that's the only way that we can right the wrongs, right? So when you have a woman who is raising a son who is in this energy, when a son starts to express his healthy aggression, which could be, biting the nipple he's nursing off of, all the way to, breaking things and poking animals or whatever, boys do.
My son's in that phase. He throws stuff, he hits.
Right. So what do we reflexively and through our conditioning, we say,
no.
Yeah, don't do that. Stop that. Or, he might bite the nipple and you say, don't hurt mommy. Right. But it's these, again, the subtle things like me telling my daughter I don't like the outfit she likes, right? It's these subtle, normative, culturally accepted programs that are actually the humble origins of a big fucking mess that we have an opportunity to clean up right now in man-woman relating. And what happens to those boys is that they are figuratively castrated And some of them actually literally through circumcision, and that's a whole other conversation. But
that blows my mind. Everybody needs to see American circumcision.
I haven't seen it, but
care.
I'm sure I would agree with it.
I don't care what faith you're in. Yeah. Once you see with your eyes the trauma that's done to a boy, welcome to Earth. Let me cut off the tip of your penis.
I have participated as a medical student. I participated in many circumcisions.
Wasn't there a part of your soul that was rejecting it and you fought with that? Or you were so in the blinders that you just did it because of your training?
The latter.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting here with me. Like, do I seem like a sociopath to you? No. And that's the power of the cult, is that it literally like distorts your perception of what is fundamentally right and wrong.
That documentary broke my fucking heart. And I think everybody needs to get their heart broken to the truth. Sometimes the truth needs to break your heart. But I digress. Go back.
Yes, I know. We could go. I'm like thinking about pap smears. I mean, if you look through the lens of occultism, it's sort of hidden in plain sight. But when it's, again, culturally conditioned around these normative practices, it can be hard to see. But yeah, so you take a circumcised boy and then you give him, a mother who has this woundology that is nearly universal at this point, and she needs him to subdue and disconnect from his healthy masculine aggression in order to earn her love. And so this is often how boys become parentified partners to their moms. And men grow up with Madonna whore complexes where they literally can't fuck a woman they love. And, they don't know how to integrate their predatory energy with their heart space.
Because it was shamed.
They were disconnected from it as a survival, mechanism. And then they live in a world of women who are righteously and with indignation saying, where are all the real men? Like, man up. Right? But the truth is that we probably wouldn't be able to handle most men in possession of their actual masculine essence, right? We think we want it, but actually we're still terrified of it. Right?
Why is that?
Because of that cardinal reality that you could kill me right now. You could stand up and literally kill me right now. I'm in a room alone with you. And there's a part of my system that's aware of that. Right. And how do I work with that? Right. So I might manipulatively use like little seductive energies. Right. That's a dark feminine, like sort of early stage strategy. I might make sure that, I'm like intellectually capable. And so you might feel my power in that way and be a little bit subdued. Right. Or I might negotiate transactionally. Right. There's so many different strategies. Or I just might be in a little bit of vigilance the whole time, making sure, like I'm still safe and where the door is. So it informs so much of the way that we navigate the world.
Yeah.
But the opportunity is really to recognize that until as women, we connect to, I call it like our fierce no. I think of that as the dark feminine initiation. Like normally there is somebody in a woman's life, could be a system, but it's often a person, often a lover who is or a partner who is holding all the archetypal energies of a parent figure, and how you can fully express your no in a way that you would never do if you were actually afraid this person was going to kill or punish you. If that makes sense. But how do you fully step into the no? Not a strategic sort of watered down version, but like your full no. And I watch so many women do this in my practice that I've seen it's part of the archetypal journey, because then your system begins to expand into the reality that actually here and now I can make choices and discern and I'm okay, right? Like I'm actually safe now, right? And so it's until you can start to expand into these pattern disrupting moments where you can do the scary thing that you subconsciously were worried was going to kill you and survive, that you live in a more expanded reality. But first you have to own the fact that you have that fear. Like that fear fueled my entire activism career. It's not because I'm a good person or I wanted to like help inform people. It's because I was afraid of the projected man.
If you like that clip, click the one that's on the screen now, and I promise you'll enjoy it just the same, if not more.